Okay, everyone. So welcome back. We're here with
Welcome back.
Milo Ibata, and yeah,
It
for
sounds
part
sexy.
two.
I know.
Yes, it's a lovely name. Thanks for coming, Milo. So, you were saying, why is it that there is such an issue with getting creatives, innovators, to really express what's within them and be successful on the continent. You were alluding to that is a spiritual issue, and then we'd love you to share about your where you are right now in your entrepreneurial journey.
So you have to remind me after I go because I like to go deep in certain subjects.
Mhm.
Obviously, this format, I can only express myself respecting that format.
Yes.
But yeah, I love to go deep on subjects and really because I care about the people that listen to me in the sense I respect them. They
Mhm.
are spending their time, they are listening to me, and I really want them to grasp maybe the insight that I had in my life. That's why I really want to go deep on things. So yes,
Mhm.
I started to say that everything is spiritual to me because actually it is. Everything people called it anima in long ago. In the Greek type of occult branch, and some call it the soul or the spirit, which is the same exact to me. And yeah, everything is spiritual, but I won't go too far on that stuff. I'm just going to say that every time that you worship something, because we human beings can make gods of everything,
Mhm.
anything that we want. You know, we can look at the wood and start to think that that wood is a god. Sorry, are you
Mhm.
listening to me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, so we can take a wood and start to say that that wood is a god. And that is the ability of not just only human beings, but sentient beings at our level. We create egregores. Egregores are thoughts form, powerful thoughts form that usually are free. They can act and move on their own, but they respect the principle for what they were created.
Mm.
You know, and that is the only like side of the spirituality I want to focus on. Look at how Africa usually is. We take other people egregores, let's say gods, because people like to call them gods. We take foreigner gods, we worship them. They don't speak our language,
Mm.
they don't know our culture, they don't dress like us, don't mind my dressing. I'm a Congolese, so everything I wear, I make it Congolese, no matter
Mm.
what. I,
Okay.
I let my own flavor, but by that I mean that they are not us. These egregores, these gods, and you have to understand that an egregore has a way to operate. For example,
Mm.
it will it will create poverty or certain stuff for people to worship it because people go worship these gods when there are problems. If there are no problems anymore, would they go worship? So we are
Good
self-creating
point.
this problem
Good point.
in thoughts form. They are only valid as gods when you are poor, when you're suffering. This is
Like,
creating self-suffering.
mm,
That is just in a spiritual game. But look,
mm,
every time somebody has a problem, he goes, he pray, he cry. He goes, he pray, he cry. He never tend to take responsibility. And that's the
mhm.
first thing. Okay, I do believe that there are beings there and maybe powerful beings that are akin to God or to deities. But first, you have to be really responsible for your act, you know. And I've always been like this since I was a kid, you know, to the point where I say, even if you got to an accident, you weren't the one who triggered the accident. You are responsible to get back on your 2 feet and get healthy. You cannot stay on bed or in the hospital and say, yeah, it's his fault. No,
Mm,
you are responsible for
mhm.
your own recuperation. That's why we really have to start be aware of this. People don't talk about this. You know,
Mhm.
it's ingrained. You are young. Oh, this is your God. This is your look. When slaves came from Africa to Western world, they started with force, beat
Mhm.
people, And after that, they thought, no, this is not working. What did they give us? They give us, how do you call it? Divine books. I won't spell a specific name of books, but they gave us, this is the book of God, learn it. And some of them were stripped of certain pages, you know. And we started
in the Caribbean, yes.
We started to accept these gods are truth, but these gods come with a lot of principles that may not be suited to our way of life. And what that creates, it creates conflicts, not conflicts between us and others, conflict within ourselves. Conflict will already exist. The conflict that is harder to be in is the conflict between you and you, the inner conflict. You know. So this part to me is really the crux of the problem, especially when I don't like to use the word leader like that, because people say, yeah, African leaders. You're not leader because of your role. It's not because you're president that the leader. The leader is not like, a leader is born. Either you're born to lead or you're not. It's not a role or, yeah, this is a leader because he's a president, because he's a businessman. No. So I would say, like, some African dirigent, you know, dabble into certain discipline, you know, occult discipline they don't know of, they don't understand them, you know, they don't understand what it will unfold in their own country. You know, they take it, they start to practice, but they don't know. And that gives us what we have now. I'm going to take an explicit example that is never, ever not at the spiritual level where spirits start to interact with others and human beings. I'm just going to take the example of Mansa Musa, the so-called richest African black man in history. What did he do? He had gold, you know. Where does his gold goes? He took his gold and started to give it for his god.
You mean gold? Gold?
Gold coin, gold. Yes. He took his gold and started to gift it, you know, to others, to foreigners, because his faith, which was Islam, said that you have to give to poor people. But don't you have poor people in your own country? You know?
Yes.
Do the other king will give you their gold.
I've not seen any of the religious leaders outside of the continent. Well, I won't go there. give
the most wealthy king,
give like that.
Foolish king. And the other problem that I have with maybe not all black people, but at least the people I know in Africa, we worship losers. We build statue for losers.
How do you mean?
We build statue. You know, we like to celebrate, let's say, Independence Day, our independence. You know, from my country is maybe 1960, 15 August, something like this. Bro, I was never a slave. I don't care, even if you are in Barbados, even if you are in America, bro, you were never a slave. You start to be a slave when you think you are one. I have no independence. Oh yeah, the day we started to be free. I was born free. Even in a cage, I'm free, my guy. I don't care.
So you think even us celebrating Independence Day,
yes,
celebrating Emancipation Day is limiting,
because you reminded yourself that you were dominated by other men, and I cannot accept to be dominated by other men. I can accept that I failed. I can accept that I lose, but with the idea that I'm going to get stronger, I'm going to get back on my feet and going to get better. Not, yeah, I survived. Now, yeah, I don't want to go there again. Yeah, this is my independence. At the same time, I'm reminding myself of the trauma. This is
trauma. It is trauma.
It's in spirituality, in occultism, we call it the Ouroboros. You know, the snake that like eats its own tail, and it's just a loop. We create a loop. Yeah, we celebrate. Oh, we're happy to have survived, but at the same time, remind ourselves of our traumas. You know, certain people that we celebrate too. This is my personal point of view. and I welcome everybody to disagree with me. But this is my point of view. They are, I like, for example, one of Africa. He was a leader, true leader, but he was a failure. Thomas Sankara. People come and say, Thomas Sankara, oh, great guy. No, you lose. If I lose, that doesn't mean I'm a bad or good person. I just lost. That doesn't mean I don't like myself. That doesn't, if I have a family member that was beat up and that guy lose, I can still learn. That's my family. But he's a loser. And except if he does everything to win, he's still a loser. I cannot worship a loser. I cannot celebrate a loser. We celebrate many African fighters, but they lost.
Well, that's an interesting concept, because for me, I found that when I got away from, because there was a time when I used to be into politics, like probably share with you, and even met some really prominent people. But when I realized that, voting was useless. Like, I'm not voting because I felt you don't represent me. Like, if I, in a sense, I vote for me. I am royalty in whatever is my kingdom. So how could I vote for you? I vote for me. I am the leader in my dominion. And there was a freedom in that sense. And so even to say that, yeah, because we have these Independence Days, Emancipation Days. So for me, descendant of, those taken from the continent during the war on the continent, centuries upon centuries ago, and you have this thing thrown in your mind all the time. Yeah, so that's true. That's a really good point.
For my guy that didn't really grow in the continent or wasn't born there, bro, stop overthinking it. Stop overthinking that story that you were taken from. You are fucking African, guys. I don't care about other Africans what they think. You are fucking African. Wherever we go, we're going to be judged at a great part based on our skin colors. You can try to run from that nature of yours, being African. It will always catch you back.
Yeah, of course.
So
I'm African.
Better accept it, and there's no African that can come and say to a Barbadian, you're not African. This guy is an hypocrite. An African guy that is born in Africa come and say to a Jamaican, you're not African, bro, he's an hypocrite. Jamaican, you are African as much as I am, Okay. And believe me, I'm really hard on my people, really, really hard. I don't tolerate bullshit from them, and I really want to get straight. I'm not the goody guy, Jesus Christ, no. But if we want to make a change, we have to be self-critical. We have to be the most self-critical ourselves and start. We have to stop celebrate losers. I had one that I respected, Lumumba. That come from Congo Kinshasa, but to me, Congo Kinshasa is just like Congo Brazzaville. Lumumba lost. He lost. Okay, his purpose, the reason why he fight was maybe a great reason, but he lost. We cannot celebrate losers. We can say, good, you fight, you did a great fight, and we're going to take your fight, or we're going to see what you did good, emulate it. What you did bad, we're going to change it or find something else. But we cannot say, this is our leader, It psychologically impacts you. If you go to war with a leader that always lose, I'm sorry, even if you like him, you're not going to fight 100% because I'm going to lose again. So emulate people that win. That's where I don't care about race. Me, you can be a dog, you can be the devil, you can be whatever you want. If you're good and you got the things that can help me grow, get better, I'm going to use it. And at the beginning, you talked about people who inspired me. We had a discussion before. People who inspired me. Alexander the Great, Napoleon Bonaparte. He hated black people. He hated. But I don't give a fuck. He's a winner.
But what about Jean-Jacques Dessalines?
Jean-Jacques Dessalines too, but he lost at the end. Even though I like style.
But they got some sort of freedom for Haiti at least.
True. Some sort of freedom. But where is that freedom now? To me, I cannot go around Africa if I don't go to Haiti. I cannot call myself African if I don't, like Muslim, they bow down to the direction of the Mecca. We African have to bow down to the direction of Haiti. This is the symbol. You are alone, surrounded by wolves. You fought so hard, so great, that you were considered at one time a kingdom.
Yes. With a
Haiti
fortress.
was a kingdom.
There's a fortress there.
So
the palace.
my Haitian guys have to understand who they are and what they mean to Africa, And aside from that, we really have to enjoy who they are, who we are, but stop, like,
so
this is really difficult to do.
Mecca.
This is
like that.
That's true.
I like that.
If I bow my head, I'm going to bow my head to the direction of Haiti, not meaning that I'm worshiping Haiti.
Yes.
There's many Africans that bow down to the direction of Mecca. Good for them. But I cannot really, that's not me. Because there's IT first. IT first. So you have to accept yourself and love yourself. I rather we fight among ourselves, but we stand strong against others. So yeah, that's come really the way. That's not just how to think; it's also spiritual. I'm not shackled by spiritual chains. I'm able to say, bow down to the Maker. Fine for you. I'm going to bow down to IT.
I think I have to say, even for my growing up, so yeah, having Caribbean roots, Caribbean, Canadian, Barbados, Canada, my roots.
Just wait a second. My battery is going low. I'm going to charge it up.
Okay.
Don't move. I'm coming back.
Okay. Yeah, I was saying that for me growing up, I really respect my parents as so me and my siblings, we were never forced to go to church. Christianity was dominant in the country where I grew up, but there were a little bit of guidance, like the truths, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. Honor your father, mother.
This rule is bullshit. Like, do unto others like you won't do it unto you.
Different rules or different guidelines, I think, for kids, and just general, just getting along.
Look, people like good,
but no shackles, no shackles.
Like what is not dangerous. Do unto others like you want
for kids.
No, it doesn't matter, because I was a kid, I lived war. The situation in life, it doesn't care if you're a kid or not, especially if you're black. If you're black.
So tell us, share about your entrepreneurial journey.
My entrepreneur journey started when I was exposed to, I can say, Steve Jobs, because when I saw him express himself the way he did, I found a great merging point between my desire for innovation and my creative side. I realized that I could do crazy things that could really be, economically viable for me. But to me, economical viability is not just to have an income on something like that, because I'm big on living your Gnosis. This is an occultic concept. It will be hard to define what Gnosis is because you experience Gnosis. Gnosis is believing on your purpose so hard that you don't take other people's routes, other people's ways. Basically, the way that an adept perceive life is like, life is just what happened is just higher probabilities of things that happen. So you expect an apple to fall from the tree, But what an adept does is like is studying lesser probability. So basically, the probability of an apple falling off the tree when you tell it to fall. This is probably doesn't happen, as regularly as an apple just falling off the tree itself. So an adept way of seeing the world basically is this, and this is linked to the quantum physics. Whatever we see and we order our perception, it become. So an adept try to explore this state of the universe, basically. So as an adept, my way of seeing the world put Gnosis at the center, because Gnosis is basically what other people call flow. You are in a state where you are one with yourself. So there's no thinking, you just follow that kind of your spirit, or your demon, like Socrates called. And people really have to study the word demons because they don't know what it means. Demons doesn't mean bad or not. Demons was a powerful familiar, usually. And this familiar helped the philosophers, to decipher some puzzle. That's why even the science of happiness, I think, is called eudaimonology. So democracy, same thing. So to go back to what I was saying, so I always knew that I had to follow my Gnosis. And when I was exposed to Steve Jobs' idea, now things started to make sense. I had that opening, that playground when I could merge my creativity and my desire to innovate. That's when I started my entrepreneurial journey with friends, because I was doing engineering in school. So I started to dabble into robotic, artificial intelligence, and started to go to basically many startup contest, competition. And at one point, I thought that I already understood how that playground worked, because one thing with me is like I perceive things or the world as a game. An aggregate of life to me is an aggregate of many games. When you speak with someone, you're playing a social game. When you going doing sport, you're playing athlete game, So there's components that come back that you can masterize and make it easier. But I won't maybe go deep on it later. So that was the start of my entrepreneurial journey. And the day I understood that it was really my calling was an hackathon. I remember it was Vivatech, if I think carefully, it was Vivatech in France, Paris. So just 2 or 3 hours before we had to go on stage, I had the role of speaking for presenting the project to people and to judge. So I was sitting on the stair, and at that moment, I don't know how to explain it. It's like kind of lucid dreaming, I was lucid dreaming. I was basically conscious, but I was lucid dreaming. And I talked to myself, I say, this is my way. This is made for me. And at that moment, I knew that whatever going to happen, at least I'm going to be great at that thing. I've always been good at what I did, but I never have been motivated so much, because the other things that I was doing, except football, wasn't really passionate. I need passion in my life. I need that thing. And yeah, that at that moment, yeah, I found my game, the game that was made for me.
Yeah, people, purpose, passion. Awesome.
Yeah, but if I want to say why are the things, it's because I want the world to spend itself when I express myself. I want the world to pause when I start to create, or when witness my creation. You know, this is really deep in me. You know, when I start, just like in dancing, when I start to dance, I want to suspend the air. You know, so everything I do is with that aim of challenging the status quo and really be disruptive, because everybody can do everything, but I want to do my things with that deep creativity. You know, I'm an artist, so I know how it feels to create. You know, I know how it feels to to to, to express your heart. I just want to open that windows toward the stream of creativity. So for one moment, it captures people and bring them in, so they too they can experience that stream. You know, it could be by doing a phone, creating a phone, beautiful disruptive phone, a laptop, a screen, a door, a mouse. You know, right now I'm in fintech. You know, I've launched an app called Tontine. You know, and to me, I perceive finance as an idea. It shouldn't be complicated, over complicated. You know, the people, we use money all the time, but it's just common guys that use money. You know, the woman that you meet in the subway, the guy that just go do his job. You know, his daily job. So I'm really angry against the people that make finance so complicated with their jargon, big words, inflation, deflation is good. It helps you to understand economical mechanic. But when you use money,
there are barriers.
When you use money, you just have something in your pocket, you pay and you go.
Yes.
You don't start to calculate deflation and inflation, because the way human perceive things is in adequation with the way things are built. You know, we don't perceive money as the tools to make money works for us being made. You know, like for example, saving machine. You cannot, like people say, you have to save 50%. Our mind doesn't think like that. Mine is, I receive money, I want something, I buy it. You know, so we have to create something that is intuitive enough to bring value to people, but not intrusive enough with these big words. Oh, you have to do this to do this. You know, simplicity is the key for me. So I launched that app and I'm working towards it right now. You know, I don't want to get cocky, but I'm cocky by nature. I aim for the big, you know, always for the top. And I won't lie, I'm not Elon Musk. I'm not someone who is motivated by, I'm going to help the world. I told you where I come from. I come from war. So this bullshit about saving the world, I know it's just pompous people that come.
Who says that Elon Musk is saving the world? I don't believe
it. Many people say that Elon Musk is saving the world.
I don't
Good. I'm cool. This guy is succeeding. And if he believes that he's doing so, good game for him. But I don't. I do things for myself. And because I do things for myself, that means I cannot do things that are not excellent, because I want excellency selfishly. You know, when I'm planning
go ahead.
excellent things, I do it for me. So when I look at it, it's excellent. I'm not doing just for you. Of course, in my game, I have to serve people. So I'm going to serve them because for me first, I want to provide the best service. The world, so what? The dinosaur didn't drive Ferraris, all end up dead. The dinosaurs were big, green, ecological, all end up dead. Me, this ecological stuff personally doesn't motivate me.
So you have a link where people can access your stuff.
I think maybe in the description of the video.
Yeah,
in the description of the video, we can share all of that.
Yeah. So yeah, I think even today, I think as I heard it, Elon Musk is laying off some Tesla employees. That's just for us. Focus on the stock market. So everything that they put out, they present out there, you know, is
I think
not always what happens in the background.
People want heroes so bad.
Yes.
They want heroes so bad. They want something that can take the responsibility out of their hands and, tell them that everything is going to be great and makes everything going to be great. Bro, that's impossible. I'm not even at the fullest of my potential. How can I reveal yours? I'm not the best I can be. How can I just go and say I'm going to save you, before saving myself? I'm always in the state of not saving myself, but thriving myself. If you come around me, of course you're going to benefit of me, just like the sun. If you fall away from the sun, you won't get sun rays. You have to come closer to the sun. But the sun is not going to move or pretend that the sun is boiling just for you. No, the sun is boiling because it's the sun. As us human beings, when we do things, we have to start to be selfish. Not selfish enough, because this fucking culture is about others life. Because all of them, when they go around, they don't care about you. I have the balls to tell you, I care about you as I want to provide a service, an excellent service, because this is my value. I value excellence. I value simplicity. I value design. I value creativity. I value greatness. But this is for me. I'm not going to pretend to save the world if I didn't save people that are around me. I'm going to lie to you.
It's true.
And it's okay to lie.
It's true.
It's not my style.
Yeah, I agree. That's awesome. That was awesome, Milo. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. And so this is part 2. If you haven't watched part 1, go and check out part 1. And yeah, I'm going to leave a link in the description where you can see more about Milo, what he's up to, Tontine, what he's launching right now.
Also, I like my private life to be private. I understand branding, but I never really wanted to brand myself on Instagram and all that stuff, because I value young guys who made some mistakes and it catches later. So I really adamant on I take the normal people stuff like kind of backward, because I understand that I've already gone through it, the quote unquote fame. When I was dancing, for example, I had many women.
Sorry about that. Yeah, go ahead.
I had many women come around after the shows, and to the point where it started to create some issues, because women sometimes are crazy. And at my level, I kind of understood what these huge artists go through, So people like to comment on certain people's lives, but believe me, it's not as easy as you think. So I understand the Chris Brown. I was like, oh damn, this is it. So fuck, I'm not even him. He got millions. So how much, So that's why I'm really slow on that part, and I'm focused on like bringing the greatest service in the world, so people can feel creativity itself.
Okay.
What it tastes like, what it looks like.
Okay, awesome.
And it looks like me.
Awesome. Well, thanks. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, drop a comment down below, and we'll catch you on the next episode of People, Purpose, Passion. Bye for now.